The Tigers take 3 of 4 from the Angels in Anaheim in what was pretty darn dominant fashion. We'll talk about that and more all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Monday, May 5th, 2025. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. Welcome in, welcome all. The Detroit Tigers made your weekend pretty darn okay. All right, pretty all right, if you will. If you had a good weekend, there's a real chance the Tigers actually contributed to that, which they've been doing a lot so far this season. Tigers take 3 of 4 from LA in Anaheim. Obviously, we recapped game 1 of this series on Friday's show, but they take 2 of 3 over the weekend. They win 10-4 on Thursday, then 9-1 on Friday. They lose 5-2 on Saturday, and then a dominant 13-1 victory for the Tigers on Sunday. Their record is now 22-13 on the season, which is sole possession of best record in the American League. It is also, I believe, only a win away. They've played more games, so losses, win percentage, whatever, but they're creeping up on best record in baseball, but pretty comfortably. Like, they have a cushion as well for best record in the American League. Their run differential is now one of the best in all of baseball. It depends on what the Cubs do. I haven't checked Sunday's scoreboard as I'm recording this to see what the Cubs did on Sunday, but there's a chance that you're listening to this and the Tigers have the best run differential in MLB and the best record in the American League. Crazy, crazy times. My first thought is really that this was it's always good to win a 4-game series, just in general. The difference between taking 3 games and losing 1 is substantial to splitting 2-2 over the course of the season, right? You just look at, like, win percentage wise, how much of a difference that is. That adds up really quickly. So beautiful. Good job. I know Saturday was frustrating, but still going to take this and run. The Tigers have also struggled in Anaheim over the years, so it's really nice to see them kind of take advantage of a bad Angels team that, like, is objectively lesser and not as well, just good as the Detroit Tigers this year. They went out there, they took care of business, 3 blowouts, all 3 wins were blowouts. I think you could argue. I think the closest one was Thursday, and that was a 6-run game. Like, everybody focuses on how teams play against other good teams, right? Which is obviously important, and that's kind of a good, like, litmus test, and it's good, benchmark for how talented your team is. But a huge part, baseball's such a long season, a huge part of being a good team is beating the teams you're supposed to. The Tigers have gone through eras where they're not a bad baseball team, but they also are just very inconsistent, and they'll beat really good teams but lose to really bad teams, whatever. The best teams in the league beat up on the teams that are, like, way, way under them in the standings. And that's what they did. They went out there, took care of business. And even if you want to be frustrated about Saturday, I get it. We'll talk about that. But their response was winning 13-1 on Sunday and hitting everything that was thrown at them. Really solid weekend. Let's talk what went right. It is a laundry list. This was a wildly successful weekend. We're going to start with just the offense as a whole. 34 runs in a 4-game set in LA, a ton of home runs, but 34 runs in a series. Beautiful stuff. Colt Keith, man, Colt Keith now has 3 home runs in the team's last 5 games. He had 2 in this series. And I think the thing that excites me the most is that he is on time for fastballs and he is still drawing walks, right? It's one thing to just be sitting fastball because you've been getting blown away by them, so, a month into the season. So the scouting report says to just blow velocity by you. And you just adjust and you sit fastball, but then you're just hacking at everything because you're just trying to, guess basically that every pitch is a fastball. It's another thing to be able to still work counts. That was what, a 2-2 count, full count when he hit the homer, and still like drew plenty of walks this weekend as well. They showed a graphic on FanDuel Sports Network that was he has one of the highest walk rates in the American League right now. And the fact that now he has a little bit of a power surge while being able to time up, and not just time up like, oh, he hit the ball far. Like he is pulling and lifting. That home run on Sunday was a laser. That was like 106, 107 miles an hour off the bat. And that was, that was a fastball that could not have been placed with your hands down the middle anymore, right? But like, that's what you're supposed to do with those. And he hasn't been so far this season. So I still welcome it. I still celebrate it. And I think the fact that he's able to be on time with his pitches while also seeing it well enough to draw walks is a beautiful thing. And very quietly, his, season numbers, they still don't look great. His OPS starts with a number 6, and I think he's still hitting under 200. But his like OPS numbers are getting close to like league average because it's walks and now there's a little bit of power lately. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully, a sign of things to come and the start of his, I guess, resurgence. I guess we can call it that. He had some good moments last year, so we'll call it a resurgence. But the heights that Colt Keith was thought of to be able to reach, or that I still think he will reach, we have not even scratched the surface on, and that's what I'm really excited about. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Torkelson with a home run this weekend. He has 10 homers on the year and also is still drawing walks in almost every game, it feels like. I think, honestly, my favorite at-bat of his weekend, though, was he had a nice hard-hit single up the middle on Sunday. And like, it's just a nice reminder that, like, this is a little different, right? It's not all just like, oh, you take a Kyle Hendricks hanging breaking ball 415 feet, but then don't get a hit of the rest of the weekend or whatever. Like, he still drew his walks. He still got his base hit. He also showed pop. Like, he looks really good, man. He looks really good. I know some people were freaking out about him, I don't know, going like 5 or 7 games where he didn't have as good of numbers. Well, like, here we go. We're right back to where we started, talking about how great of a start he's had to the season. So just let it breathe, man. Like, give this time. It is still May 5th. We are so early into this thing. Like, we're so early in the season that at the end of the year, when you look at player splits and you're like, oh, like, let's look at his month-to-month splits. We're only in March/April. So much ball yet to be played. Javier Baez, man. He has hit, he didn't hit a homer on Sunday. Before that, he had hit a home run in 3 consecutive ball games. Didn't go yard on Sunday, but did still record 2 hits. He's now hitting .309 with an .829 OPS. There's a little bit of power in there lately. Look, we're just going to ride this wave as long as we can. I don't know if it's going to last forever. I don't know if it's permanent. I don't know if the power's back. And I was ridiculous to say that the power got zapped. I don't care either. We're just going to smile and wave, boys. We're just going to sit back and enjoy the ride and just see. He's played great defense in center field. If he starts looking like this the rest of the way, then that is absolutely freaking awesome. We got a lot more to talk about, okay? This was such a great weekend. There are so many bullet points to go over in terms of what went right, so we'll get back into all of those right after this. Got to talk to you today about our friends over at Monarch Money. Have you ever checked your bank account and wondered where the heck did all of my money go? Well, between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, spending, all in one place so you can stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I first started using Monarch, as I tell you all the time, I kind of realized how much I was spending on stuff that I didn't need to be, food delivery and such. Now I budget smarter and I save way more. Managing money with your partner has also never been smoother and easier. You can track all your personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off of your first year. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, as always, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. And we will, of course, be back tomorrow with an off-day episode, also previewing the series against the Colorado Rockies. Going to talk about kind of what we want to see in the month of month of May, rather, as we kind of take a look ahead here, some organizational updates and such as well. Talking about the offense that was fantastic over this past weekend, though, hard to have this conversation without talking about Trey Sweeney, who was absolutely sensational on Sunday. Had a homer earlier in the series as well, but goes 4 for 5 with a home run and 6 RBIs on Sunday. And like I said, that homer was his second of the weekend. Absolutely phenomenal. I don't know what the future of Trey Sweeney holds, especially if Javier Baez is hitting decently well. I don't know if the full health Detroit Tigers roster Trey Sweeney or prioritize a roster spot for Trey Sweeney. I mean, before this weekend, his offensive numbers were pretty brutal, and he's an average defender over at shortstop. But it's a nice reminder that he is still young. He was a former first-round pick, and there is still some pop in that bat if he can get going. So got to cut down the swing and miss, got to cut down the strikeouts a lot. But I still think that there's a major league ball player there. It's far from a guarantee, and it's something that he's going to have to work on, and hopefully that is a sign of some things to come. He's not going to do that every game, but if we can kind of, recreate it in the aggregate, if you will, if we can kind of stretch that out and get some decent production going forward, that would obviously help the Tigers offense a boatload. Kerry Carpenter goes 4 for 6 on Sunday, home run as well. He's just unreal against right-handed pitching, man. And obviously, we've seen some improvements and some more opportunities against left-handed pitching so far, but those have kind of dwindled away lately. But in the same breath, there's been fewer opportunities against left-handed pitching lately in comparison to the first couple of weeks of the season, at least. And I feel like less people are complaining about it or like upset about it. And I think part of that is just because of the production they've gotten from other people. And it's kind of taken some of the weight off of the meat of the lineups, kind of, I don't know, the pressure for them to produce every given night because they've gotten run production from elsewhere. But just something to keep an eye out for. I'm wondering if that was, if that's intentional, if that's more, obviously he had the injury for a day and they didn't want to put him on the injured list, but they weren't going to play him in the field too much either. So we'll see what he looks like going forward as far as usage goes. But one thing's for sure, man, him in the leadoff spot, the reason why is because they want to give him as many at-bats, plate appearances as possible if a righty is on the mound. And that's a nice reminder as to why. Friday was a historic performance for the Detroit Tigers. They put up an 8 spot in the 9th inning. That was a 1-1 ball game going into the 9th, and the Tigers won 9-1. Riley Greene has a 2 home run inning in the 9th inning. He is the first player in Major League Baseball history to record a 2 home run 9th inning, and he's the first Detroit Tiger since Magglio Ordonez in, I think the Tigers PR department said 2007. I know Castellani was all over it too. That is the last time a Tiger had a 2-home run inning, period. Fantastic stuff. He has clearly turned it around. His OPS is already back over 800. Like he's fine. It's just about consistently lifting the baseball for him. And that is something that we hope we can get, again, on a consistent basis. Dylan Dingler with a home run this weekend. I mean, just home run galore, man. And that's why you see 34 runs in 4 games is pretty darn good. So fantastic offensive performance outside of Saturday. Even if you want to get super nitpicky, like I guess you could say that the offensive performance against LA's starter on Friday was not awesome, but like Soriano is good. Like, everybody laughs at the Angels and likes to kind of kick them while they're down. Jose Soriano is a really good young up and coming pitcher, has a really good sinker, a really good splitter, keeps the ball on the ground a lot. Like that is a guy that I respect a lot, and I'm not too terribly upset about, especially because they, again, put up 6 runs on 0 ERA, Kenley Jansen, and scored 8 runs in the 9th inning alone. So it all ended up okay, but maybe something to keep an eye on there. Not really. I don't even know why I said that. Let's talk about pitching. Tarik Skubal, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and 1 home run against. That home run against was on the literal first pitch of the ball game against Zach Neto, who then had some words for the best pitcher in baseball a little bit later in the game after Tarik struck him out. Everyone was kind of talking about that. I think Tarik loves that. Like and I don't know the guy. Maybe he's like, screw Zach Neto now. But like, I think that Tarik is the type of competitor where like he absolutely loves that. And now he's going to, look forward to facing Neto, maybe some extra motivation, and really respects somebody for kind of like jawing back and forth with him. I thought it was just two dogs going at it, man. I respect the heck out of Zach Neto. He's a heck of a ball player, and is another good young piece that the Angels have. So I don't like hate Zach Neto for it. I didn't have an issue with it. I thought it was just 2 guys that are, kind of baseball dirtbags going at it. And I thought it was kind of electric. I think Tarik goes, "Come here then," or whatever. And the bench is clear, which is just so overly dramatic when you got the bullpen running out there. Like, all right, guys, we can kind of calm down with this. But Tarik was great on the mound after that first pitch. Even the first, he's just sitting dead red, obviously, and got what he wanted. But was incredible. Was pulled a little bit early than people anticipated. I didn't have an issue with this. A lot of people did. I understand that it is objectively, and I truly believe that, way more fun to watch a pitcher go deep into a ball game. But it's May, and with all due respect, it's against the Angels, and they ended up winning by 8 runs anyway. Like you gotta save bullets when you can, I guess, and that is the situation in which they felt like it was necessary to do that. So I don't think he's like hurt or dealing with anything, or that he like asked to come out of the game. Obviously, I think they were just like situationally, I think we'll be fine. We're not going to waste is probably too dramatic of a word, because it was still a close game, and I understand it in that regard. But I just don't think that they felt a need to really push Tarik in this outing. So we'll see if that's a reoccurring theme maybe for the month of May, or whether he just goes right back to kind of letting him loose later. Reese Olson, 5 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts on Sunday. An out away from a quality start. Sadly, is not able to record that. However, 18 whiffs on Sunday. 18 swing and miss. Really, this was just the first and the 6th inning. His command was all over the place. In all the other innings in between those two, he was incredible and dang near flawless. The changeup that he throws to righties and lefties, the slider that he throws to righties and lefties, got a couple of swing and miss on the 4-seam fastball even. Now, the Angels are an extremely high swing and miss team. Okay, this is a high whiff rate ball club, an incredibly high strikeout and whiff rate ball club. But I like the fact that, again, at the beginning, like, we're not going to fault a player for just doing what you're supposed to do against an opponent. And I think that Reese Olson is a high swing and miss rate guy that has really nasty stuff. And that's what happens when you have a high whiff rate guy against a high whiff rate offense. I thought he was fantastic. Again, outside of it was just command based at the beginning and the end of the outing. And then the bullpen, Sean Gunther, Brant Herter, Chase Lee, Tyler Holton pitched this weekend, Brennan Hanafy, Bo Brisky's return, Will Vest looked back to his old self. I want to point out with Will Vest, the usage there, the lowest of low stress. He has not pitched in a while because there's been a lot of blowouts. And he also had a really bad outing recently. And was that his most recent outing before this? One of his most recent outings before this. So I think it's good to, you have a scheduled off day on Monday and you play Colorado and he hasn't pitched lately. Like, there's no guarantee he's going to be used over the next couple of days either. So I think it's really good on Hinch to get him out there. That stuff matters. And everything with AJ is very calculated. And I think that the usage of Will Vest was something I wanted to highlight, but everyone was great. Sean Gunther's so good, man. It's wild to me that he was just like chilling in the minor leagues. Like, it's a testament to how good the Tigers pitching depth is. Brant Herter looked fantastic. Chase Lee against righties. Like, I'm just going to repeat all the names again, but I thought the bullpen was great. Let's talk about what went wrong really quickly, which is a pretty short list. Then we'll talk stuff. Okay. We'll do that right after this. Got to talk to y'all today about our friends over at Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more, experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting with them with top freelance talent across multiple industries. That's including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivers incredible results. It's fast, easy hiring, and cost-effective growth. Instead of handing out and hiring full-time workers, Upwork helps find affordable top-tier freelancers to scale my business efficiently. So visit Upwork.com right now. Post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. We got a lot to get through here. This was a very eventful weekend, so there's a lot to talk about. We're going to try to get through it as quick as we can and not go too much over time. What went wrong? Really, the only thing, tangible on this list is like the offense against Kyle Hendricks. You can't. It's so funny to me that going into the weekend, into the series rather, I was like, yeah, you should probably take 3 or 4. And like Saturday is probably the most guaranteed win on the season so far. And then naturally they have 3 blowout wins and lose Saturday only because baseball. I don't think you can look how they did offensively. They not unprepared, just a failure to execute whatever the plan was, more so. You got diced by Kyle Hendricks in 2025. He barely had double-digit strikeouts going into that outing on the season. His ERA was over 6.5. He hadn't had a win yet, and he almost tossed 8 shutout again. So I thought he was going to Maddox at one point. Not good. Just couldn't get anything going. And look, like Kyle Hendricks is a true pro. Like that is a guy who has made his entire career around not throwing hard. Like if anybody can maneuver through a lineup without touching 90, it's gonna be him. But it's just that doesn't make it any less frustrating to see 86 up there and getting blown away by 86 miles an hour and seeing the. He's gotten rocked in literally every single one of his starts except for this one now. So that's the part that's kind of frustrating about it. But to his credit, he was hitting his spots and executing well. The botched ball in center field between Riley Greene and Kerry Carpenter that was gross. And like Kerry Carpenter looked at him immediately and was just like, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Like sometimes it's just that simple, man. Sometimes it's not rocket science. Just like one guy didn't hear another one. It's not like they're terrible defenders or anything. Riley hasn't played center in a while. Whatever. The only other thing I want to highlight here is I'm going to put Jack Flaherty in what went wrong. And not because I think this was a terrible performance or that Jack Flaherty's awful or anything, but he goes 5 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. His ERA in the season is now 3.79. Obviously still a really solid year. Still had a lot of swing and miss, still had a lot of strikeouts, whatever. The command it just hasn't been there so far. And that's, some outings he's walking more than he usually did last season. And some outings he's like this one, he's just missing in the zone instead of out of the zone. So he's throwing the ball and it's, he's throwing that slider and it's hanging way more often than you'd like it to. And the big reoccurring theme here, and this is something the first time I saw it online was through Castellani. But I saw it, a few other times after that, was that in the first 5 innings of work, his ERA is around 2. And in the 6th inning, his ERA, I think he said it was like 20. So like this is something to just keep an eye out for. So far this season, he's been really good through 5 and then has just gotten the absolute doors blown off him in the 6th. And that is clearly an adjustment that he needs to make. When teams see him 3 times through the lineup, it's those numbers go up a lot. So hopefully that's something we can fix because we're going to need innings out of our starting pitchers, believe it or not. Let's talk stuff. Besides that, such a fantastic weekend. FanDuel Sportsbook said that it was the most runs the Tigers have scored in Anaheim in a single series in the history of Tigers versus Angels series in Anaheim. So that's kind of cool. 34 runs. Also, like, just to touch on the Angels really quickly, I don't think talent-wise this team is that bad. I really don't. I think this is a combination of a horrid bullpen, like a rancid, disgusting bullpen, and not like disgusting. Wow, that stuff is disgusting. Good, like bad. Okay, bad bullpen. And a manager that I thought got managed circles around him all weekend. Like even on Saturday, I was blown away by Ron Washington's managing this weekend. And they're not a team that's like looking to win right now. They know where they currently stand and whatnot. So I don't know. It's kind of giving like Ron Gardenhire managing the Tigers vibes, where it's just like we're gonna have this veteran that all the fans love kind of come in and be a good influence on the young players, and he can just man the seat while we lose 100 games or whatever. So we'll see what happens. But I think there's too much talent on that roster for them to look the way they did. Obviously, Mike Trout being hurt, as we have become accustomed to as well, doesn't help anything. The umpire on Saturday, I have written down in stuff, was just all over the place. That guy was, home plate umpire, balls and strike umpire on Saturday was I don't know, late for a dinner or something. That was a huge strike zone. So talking about the Tigers lineup, we're going to get into a little bit more in depth on this tomorrow, but there is the big 3 of Torkelson, Carpenter, and Greene are all on pace for over 35 home runs right now. And I want to go a little bit more in depth on that on tomorrow's show because we have an off day. So we're going to save the big conversation for them, but I did want to point out that stat. As far as injury updates, Bo Brisky is back, pitched twice this weekend. I thought the usage was brilliant by Hinch. 1 game you're losing, you're pretty clearly not going to score anything. Throw them out there low leverage. Then again on Sunday, opposite, right, up whatever, 10, 12 runs. You can throw them out there low leverage, kind of get him in the swing of things at the major league level. Tyler Owens sent back down to AAA. Manuel Margot continues to rehab in Toledo. The big news from the weekend, though, Matt Vierling begins his rehab assignment. Matt Vierling was leading off and DHing for the Mud Hens on Saturday. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Look, the thing is, And we can talk about this tomorrow too. You know, when he comes back, is he going to play center field? Is he going to play third base? It's probably going to be both. I'd imagine a lot of center field, but like throw him wherever, dude. I don't care. Just get him in the lineup. Like it's just so exciting. The Tigers have been so good, and the offense was so brilliant this weekend. And now we're talking about adding one of our best bats from last year into the lineup and into the mix of things too. And you also have the Rockies coming up. That is, again, off day today as you listen to this, but a 3-game set against the Rockies this week. Their pitching is horrid, and this is in Colorado. Like all of the starting pitchers you're going up against have ERAs that start with a 5 or a 6. They're off to one of the worst starts in baseball history. They are 6-28. And again, you're in Colorado, so a lot of home runs in LA. Maybe that doesn't change. The only other thing I want to point out is that AJ was given a lot of players rest and said he did that intentionally because they're going to Colorado. And that's something he's been pretty adamant on over the years, is making sure that players are well rested going into a Rockies series, because the air is thinner, you know, the grass they use, whatever, but mostly the altitude. He wants to make sure, especially with a scheduled off day there on Monday, that everybody has had a chance to sit at least, you know, most of one game this weekend and gets the off day before heading into that series against Colorado. So just want to clarify that if anyone was confused. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. And we will, of course, be back tomorrow as we preview the week ahead and the month ahead. Maybe the year ahead, too. I mean, heck, the decade ahead. Hopefully some rings. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. What a great weekend. I hope you enjoy your Monday. Go Tigers, baby.